Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Bohicaville. I'm Paul, and today is Tuesday, November 6th, 2013. I think it's November 6th. It's Tuesday. So, this is a follow-up to the video I did last night about the executive order that the Oracle, President Obama, signed on Friday while everyone was paying attention to LAX about setting up a climate change council um, to further take government control over to the people. And this is unconstitutional. And it is Congress's job to create legislation like this because Congress holds the power of the purse. But Congress won't pass any legislation like this, so Obama just went around them and wrote an executive order. Uh, but the climate change debate, the whole climate change debate, seems to be focused on greenhouse gas emissions and human sprawl or urban sprawl or suburban sprawl or whatever you want to call it. Um, the environmentalists think that the planet is overpopulated and humans have encroached on too many areas of the planet. Um, so, but I was thinking about what I think is really important about the environment. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. Um, so if you want to talk about climate change and the environment in general, I mean the ecological health of the planet, then I think there's a few things that we need to focus on. The number one, is Fukushima. Yes, Fukushima, the location of the Daiichi nuclear power plant in Japan, run by TEPCO, the Tokyo Electric Power Company. And as everybody knows, on March 11th, 2011, there was a large earthquake in the Fukushima area, followed by a tsunami, and 3 of the 4 reactors at the Daiichi nuclear plant ended up melting down. And since then, they've been leaking radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean at the rate of like around 300 tons every single day. Okay, this is doing major damage to the Pacific Ocean. Eventually, the radiation is going to hit North America. Some people say it already has. This is a global disaster, at least for the Northern Hemisphere. This is a disaster. There may be parts of the Southern Hemisphere that will not ever experience any effects of Fukushima. But we here in the Northern Hemisphere, here in the United States, particularly the Western United States, we're going to get hit with some dangerous amounts of radiation, especially on the West Coast. Plus, we have a Texas-sized island of debris from the tsunami that took place right after the earthquake in Fukushima. And that debris has been gradually following the tide current, and it's currently somewhere around 1,000 miles off the coast of California. Now, if this Texas-sized island of debris starts hitting the coast of California all at once, that in and of itself is going to be a major catastrophe and a major cleanup effort, because that stuff's all got radioactive waste on it too. Okay, not to mention just the sheer volume of junk that's contained in this island of debris. Okay, so if you want to talk about climate change and ecological health of the planet, let's talk Fukushima first. Okay, and then number two is security and safety at nuclear facilities in general. Um, we really need to beef up our security at nuclear power plants, and we need to beef up the infrastructure, I think. We need to have longer generator backup times at nuclear power plants in the event of some type of massive electrical power grid failure, because they don't have enough backup generator to last for a really long time. I mean, what if the electrical grid goes down for 6 months or a year? Do nuclear plants have enough backup generating power to maintain cooling of the nuclear fuel rods for that period of time? No. So, need to talk about that. Personally, my druthers would be get rid of nuclear altogether. Um, but that's just my own personal opinion. So anyway, number one, Fukushima. Number two, nuclear power plants and nuclear facilities safety and security. Number three is our water supply. Okay, our water supply keeps getting more and more poisoned all the time by big corporate private interests. And I know I'm sounding like some kind of socialist environmentalist here. Sorry about that, unless you're a socialist environmentalist. Uh, but I'm really not. I'm more of a capito anarchist. Um, See LouRockwell.com if you don't know what a capito anarchist is. Uh, if you peruse that site, that'll give you a pretty good idea of what a capito anarchist is. But water is one of the things that we all need for survival. So, therefore, the water should be clean, and second of all, it should be accessible to all members of the public. And that's another problem with the water, is that the supply is being increasingly taken over by big money private interests. Okay, go do a search on Nestle Company and their various water subsidiaries. Uh, if you look at the bottle of water that you're drinking out of, okay, even if it's a small spring label, there is a chance that that small spring label is owned by the Nestle Corporation, and they control all that water coming from that area, even if it's to the detriment of residents of that particular local community. Okay, so water's number three. Number four, concerning climate change, is why don't we do something about whatever that crap is that military planes are spraying into the atmosphere? Okay, that is affecting the climate way more than anything spewing out of any coal power plant. Okay, and way more than any carbon emissions do. And by the way, whenever any animal exhales, part of what we're exhaling is carbon dioxide. So we as humans are contributing to carbon emissions. Uh, just a minor little point there. And I know that people in the environmental movement think that the world is overpopulated. Um, I don't agree with that. I just think we're too filled with crony capitalists, um, where we should be pure free market capitalists. But crony capitalism seems to be the only form of capitalism we've ever known. Anywho, so that is my list of four. things that we should be worrying about if we want to talk about climate change and the environment. Number one, Fukushima. Number two, sort of related to number one, safety and security at nuclear facilities in general. Number three, our water supply. And number four, geoengineering or chemtrails or whatever that stuff is that military planes are spraying into the atmosphere. There you go, four things. Just my 2 cents, folks. That's all for me. I'm Paul. This is Bohicaville. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe. And I'm out of here for tonight. Ciao.